This is Muita who comes via Sky Cable TV, and the show is True Living Show. Welcome back. Today we are continuing on a topic of depression. I know last time when I was here we were talking about depression. We said that depression is when you don't do the things you used to do, when you feel sad, when you don't have any interest, when it's prolonged depression, or you don't feel like yourself. And the last time when we were here, we talked about the 9 types of depression. I can mention them one by one. The first one was major depression, which we went on to deep details on it. Then we also talked about persistent depression. Also, we went on to details with it. Then we also went and did manic depression. So we tackled on those 3 of them. And then the other ones, which like the depressive psychosis, we'll talk about it today. Then there is parental depression, we'll talk about it. Then premenstrual depression, that's another one. Then there is seasonal depression. Then there is also situational depression, and then atypical depression. So, as we had said, or we had talked about depression, we said that depression is one of the major mental disease, which some places people don't talk about it, people don't understand about it, or people are on denial about it. But here we'll talk more. Maybe that will enlighten you, you and I. And then at the end of the topic or the presentation, if you have any question, you can just write it on the comment section. You can ask any question, you can comment, and that will be okay. And then you can subscribe. And let's get on to this topic of depression. So the one we'll talk about right now is about depressive psychosis. Just as the top, as it says, psychosis is when you lose the reality. We have seen different types of depression, and maybe that's why people don't understand what is depression, because we always, it's like an umbrella of many things. Because if somebody has a major depressive disorder and another one has a depressive psychosis, you might say they are different, they are not behaving the same, because one will be sad, one will withdraw. But when you have depressive psychosis, you see that person is out of reality. So that person might even be talking of things which are non-existent. Like they'll have hallucinations, and hallucination is like they hear voices, or some other people are talking to them while, as you know very well, maybe there is nobody who is there. So it's like they lose reality to whatever is happening day by day, and it's a part of depression too. So it may appear that they have physical symptoms, and also they have mental symptoms of it. So that kind of depression is also treated with some medications too. And when somebody have that kind of depression, it's good also to talk with them. Just try to make them see the reality of it. It might be have gone too extreme that they need to see a psychiatrist who can diagnose them, who can also medicate them. But also ourselves, we need to keep in touch with those kind of people, because when somebody starts hallucinating, they are not on reality. They might hear voices or feel some voices which might tell them, go do this. And that's one is also dangerous, because at the end, they might hear voices which says, go cut yourself or go kill yourself. And that's how people with depression, at the end, sometimes a small number of them, they end up committing suicide because they heard voices which told them but because it's a mental illness, we don't know what is going on. You might see them out there, they looking good, nothing is going on, but they might, maybe when you engage them, when people who know them, who are close to them, like family members, when they ask them, are you hearing voices, or if they tell them something happened, then that way, they can be saved and they can be treated, they can be helped at that time. Another one is parental depression. Some people call it postmortem depression. Like after you get pregnant or after you give birth, because of hormonal changes, because the body changes. If you don't have good support system when you're pregnant, or after you get pregnant, you can easily get it because you feel like you are not yourself. There are changes. Hormones also comes and they go and changes. So in that way, that's a type of depression, and it's only women who get it because they are the ones who get pregnant. So in that way, when somebody is seeing a doctor when they are pregnant or when they are giving birth, they can talk about it there. They can also talk about it with their spouses, or with their family members, with the community. They can be helped, especially immediately after they come home with the baby. Somebody should be able to help, like taking care of the baby, because that's when you hear somebody harmed their baby just because they had that kind of a problem. And it is very sad. Some women, they come from the hospital after giving birth, and yet they are very depressed, and then they are supposed to take care of the baby. So you find like they are not able to take care of their babies, they are not able to take care of themselves, and if things are not checked or they are not treated, they can easily lose it. They can easily harm themselves. They can easily commit suicide. And that's one of the depression, which, different people get it, different women. I know it's a small number, but there are those who get it after they give birth or when they are pregnant. Another one, another kind of depression is premenstrual euphoric depression. That one, people get it when the women, they have a cycle, when they have periods, and some of the things you see with them, especially when they have it, they have cramps, they have bloating, they have breast tenderness. Other symptoms are headaches, sadness and despair. They feel sad all the time. They have a lot of joint and muscle pain. Then they lack energy to do things. They also have sleeping problems. They can't even focus. They cannot concentrate the way you and we can concentrate when we are supposed to be concentrating. Or for somebody who is not depressed, the way you focus, it's not the way they will do it. They will not focus. And that's why those kind of people, they also need treatment, because that's why you find like at that certain time of the month, some women, they are very sad, or, they are very, they don't feel like themselves, or they are sad, or, they are very moody. So that part of it. And they need to be helped. There are so many ways they can be helped this way. They can even have hot baths. They can exercise. They can walk. They can take some pain medications. They can also take some, some medications, which is prescribed by a doctor or a psychiatrist, or somebody who is licensed to prescribe the medications. Later on a later date, we'll go on talking about medications specifically for treating all the types of depression. And also we'll also talk about the side effects, and that way, you'll be able to know when to take care of yourself, when to help other people. And for now, we'll take a small break and have a small breather, and then we'll be back to continue with the topic of depression. Thank you. Welcome, viewers. We are just continuing with the topic of depression. As we had stated earlier on, we had tackled about the 8 types of depression. We started with major depression on the first show. Then there was persistent depression, then manic, then depressive psychosis, which we just did, periantal, then premenstrual dysphoric depression. We also we're now going to talk about seasonal depression and situational depression and typical depression. So what do you think, or do you understand by seasonal depression? It is what it is as it sounds, because seasonal depression, it comes according to the seasons. You know, like we have different seasons. We have fall, we have winter, we have spring, we have summer. So mostly around here, most people, they usually get seasonal depression, and it starts in the fall. Because fall, as the word sounds, fall, you know, the leaves start falling, the weather start getting a little, you know, dull. And most people, that's why we say some people between this season and this season, they were different. They were looking depressed, or they were not themselves. They were not socializing. Then that is seasonal depression. And, you know, they withdraw from the social circles also. They can also gain a lot of weight. That's one of the symptoms you might see with people. And then they get increased sleep. They sleep during the day more and then maybe at night they are awake, or vice versa. And then they feel hopelessness. You know, they feel like they don't belong, and it's not a good feeling. And it can worsen. Let's say, like, when it starts in fall, then it goes to the winter. You know, those kind of people, the way they should be helped is like people should be visiting them. They should be engaged on activities. They should be known well of. They should have a good support system in the community. Family members should be talking to them more. They should be getting them to go with them out, to do activities, to go to the mall, to be involved on day-to-day activities, also doing good hygiene, because when you're depressed, most people, they don't shower. Their hygiene becomes bad. And mostly people who get it is those people who already have this or the other types of depression we had talked about. All when people are lonely, when you live all by yourself, you can easily get depression. We have run that the social system, those people who have a strong social system, they rarely get depression. Or if they get it, it's because of a different reason. Mostly it's not even seasonal, or it's not situational. So our community make it like a stigma already. They don't talk about it. They don't visit other people who maybe by this season they are by themselves, or because of this weather change they don't feel good. So, and that's why we need all to check on each other, to check on our neighbors, you know, especially when the weathers are changing, when seasons are also changing. We should also know where our people, where our relatives, where our friends, where our neighbors, where are people in the community. And that way they will be helped, and somebody can get help through therapists, you know, through psychiatrists, through psychologists, you know, to change the way they are. Another one is situational depression. Anybody here, you as a viewer and myself, we can easily get it, because situational depression is depression as it is saying situations. So situations comes and change. You know, if somebody loses a job and then they don't have a source of income, sometimes you see those people, they keep quiet to themselves. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to look for another job. They don't want to look for help because they are depressed. It's not what they want. And because of their conditions. And these conditions also, I just gave an example of losing a job. Getting a divorce is another one. Losing a loved one, you know. And sometimes you find yourself alone. Your friends leave you, or your family, or the community, because of all this stigma. People, when you lose a job, you don't want to talk to people about it. When you divorce, people already have their own judgments. They might say it's you who did this, or this is happening, and that way you are not able to talk to those people. You are not living on reality. The community also is not on reality. So it's like they leave you there alone, and you can easily get depressed. Not that you inherited it, not because it came through another way, but because of the situation and the condition you are in. So in that way, the community should help you, be able to interact with you, be able to be a supporting, mechanism when you have all these issues. And that way, you can be helped when you have that, or you can overcome that one very easily. The last one we are going to talk about is a typical depression. This is, I'll talk about the symptoms that you get when you have a typical depression. One is you have increased appetite. You might overeat, like you have like an eating disorder, you overeat so much. Then you have a poor body hygiene. Then you sleep too much, or you don't sleep, you have insomnia. You don't sleep during the night. Maybe you are awake at night. And then you have some sort of pain or aches. Not that you have physical pain, but you feel like you have the pain. And that's a typical depression. But it can change easily. It can be changed by new situation. If a positive situation comes to you, let's say like you are promoted to your job, or something good happens to you, it can easily go away. So that one can be tackled in a very easy way. If maybe a certain area you have a problem, if you can be helped on that side, then it can easily goes away. I can stand here, we talk more and more, because next time we'll talk about ways of resolving depression, ways we can help each other, where we can go to, what medication we can take, who we can talk to, how can we explain it. And if you have any questions, or if you have any comment, don't hesitate to go down there and comment, subscribe, and don't forget to be watching this show every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern African time and 12 noon Eastern time. And thank you for watching this show. Bye.